clap. Okay, so now we are recording, and I'm going to put up a poll in a few minutes. We now have 16 participants, but let's go ahead and do the intro for Jen. So good evening, friends. I'm Sarah Vetter of the library's Community Engagement Team, and tonight's Zoom program is Cooking with Jen, Soup and Bread. With over 10 years of experience in the food industry, Jen Palaraccio has a passion for teaching people how to create simple, nutritious, and delicious meals, all in the comfort of your own homes. Her goal is to take out a lot of the stress and the hassle and to inspire a love of cooking. On the menu tonight, we've got comfort food. You're going to be hungry during and after this one. It's called, we have pasta e fagioli and a side of cheesy garlic bread. So I did send the recipe along. Some of you may have bought the ingredients. If so, feel free to cook along with Jen. And hello and welcome, Jen.
Hello, hello. Thank you, Sarah, for inviting me for this online presentation tonight. And thanks for everyone who signed up. I know that your time is very precious, and for being here and spending that time with me means a lot to me. And I am really grateful. So tonight,
may I jump in just for a second, Jen? Tell us quickly what fueled your passion for cooking.
What fueled my passion for cooking? Since I was a little girl, I was raised by my grandparents. By the way, my background, I was born in the Philippines. I came here when I was very young, but growing up in the Philippines, I was raised by my grandparents, and we have all kinds. She had this beautiful vegetable garden in the backyard. So we go to the market from some of the ingredients, but most of, like, especially veggies, we just pick it out, you know, outside the in the backyard. And I just enjoyed seeing her really like cooking from the very young age. I enjoyed seeing her cooking, the smell. You know, when we're cooking, all the senses are involved, right? We have all this. So the visual, the smell, the taste, it's just the aroma lingering in the kitchen that really fueled me, and that's from the very young age. And since then, I really love it. And plus, I like sharing what I discovered. Sometimes it's not always like I don't just teach the right way, but I also teach them and tell them what could go wrong. And so then, on, you know, especially the beginners, don't give up easily, because, you know, it takes practice. It takes a while. It took me a while to really, you know, master what I teach to people, to everyone. So I always tell them that this could go wrong and this is how we fix it. And that way also they have a better understanding. So next time they will not struggle so much, because they know how to fix what gone wrong.
And that's just it. We've all suffered some cooking disasters.
Yes.
When you get the triumphs and the successes, it makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put up a poll real quick, Jen. So this is for everybody who's tuning in. It's just a poll to let us know if you have anyone watching with you. And you're just going to indicate the number of, include yourself, 1 or 2 or 3 or 17. Here we go. Is it up? Okay. Jen, you don't have to, you can pop out for this part. Okay.
I just closed it. So
thank you. All right. So we'll leave that up just for a few minutes.
Yeah. I also want to say one thing. I have a very old dog, and he keeps walking around, so you will hear his nails so long because he wouldn't let me cut them, and he just keeps walking around, and he's all 17, and so you will hear him like the steps and his nails like on the so I really, you know, pardon pardon him for like being here around. He's a small dog. He's a lab after. I have a big one too. I have a lab, but he's the old guy who just wants to be here in the kitchen every time I'm in the kitchen. For
Well,
some reason, he's just looking for something that, you know, fall on the floor and maybe. And so
He's looking for handouts. Well, we welcome the dog and everybody else. So I'm gonna end this poll and I am going to give you, I'm gonna go off the video and Jen, take it away.
okay, all right, so oh, here. Okay, I'm not sure if this is okay.
We need to get.
Okay. All right, so, all right, so again, okay, thank you for being here. Okay, first we are going to, I'm going to show you how I dice my veggies. So there's not a lot of veggies. It's just the carrots, the celery, and the onion. This is what you call mirepoix in French. It's the trinity, that like the holy trinity. When you're making soup, there's onions, carrots, and celery, and that what really gives that nice hearty flavor to the soup. Now, so first of all, always sharpen your knife, because that makes it a lot easier for you to cut, dice, and slice your ingredients, because you're not using a pushing and pulling force when your knife is sharp, because just one slice and you get a clean cut. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to tilt the camera so you can see how I work, you know, my hands working around here. So let me just tilt it a little bit. Okay, so there you go. And then what I'm gonna do is just place everything right by the camera, like so. Okay, see here. Because I see a very small frame of myself, so I don't know if you guys, so hopefully that you can see well. So what I've done here is I peeled my carrots and I cut it into matchstick. All right, which is we call julienne also. This is the matchstick. And then what we're gonna do is we try to cut our vegetables or cut the ingredients the same size so they can cook the same way. So you don't want some of them dying and then the rest are matchstick. So you want it as uniform as possible. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna dice all this. You know, it's, see how it's nice and easy to cut with sharp knife. So that's, I'm doing right here. It's just dicing it, and that's it. You just dice the, and then you get this really nice diced carrot. Okay, so, and then the other vegetable here is it's the same way with your celery. So I'm combining in the same bowl the carrot and the celery because it's going the same time anyway in the pot. So you can combine this. So okay, so just combine. So it's also minimize dishes, you know, like you don't want to wash too many dishes. So just we're trying to make everything as easy as possible for us. And the key to successfully make a really good, you know, like to successfully have an enjoyable time in the kitchen is prep everything. We call it mise en place. Mise en place means everything in place. So you don't want to start sauteing your garlic and the rest of the ingredients you have to go ahead and prep. So by the time you come back to your pot, your garlic is gonna be burnt. So you want to make sure that, you know, you have minced the garlic, you have diced the rest of your vegetables. Now, for mincing the garlic, I'd like to just slice the garlic and then kind of cut them into also like little strips, and then just run your knife just back and forth until you finally mince the garlic. I like to finely mince the garlic when I'm sauteing it. Now, for our garlic bread. Later on, we're gonna make the garlic bread. We also want to really finely mince the garlic, or if you have a garlic press, you can also use that. And keep in mind, always use fresh ingredients like garlic. Make sure that you mince fresh garlic. Don't buy the ones in the bottled ones that's already minced. They taste totally different. They taste like it's been sitting there for years. It's not the freshness. You don't have the really nice pungent, flavor of the garlic if you buy it. So I always like to buy fresh ones. The garlic sticks your hands and your knife. So I'm just gonna rinse a little bit so that I can cut the onion. I can cut the onion here on a clean board. Now, also chopping onions. I like to peel my onions, but keep the root part attached. So then when I chop it, they're all intact together. So what I do is I'm gonna cut this lengthwise, like so. And then I'm gonna turn the onions and then kind of slice the top one time, and then right in the middle the second time. And then you'll have this really nice chopped onions, okay? And then you can discard that very top, okay? So then here you go. You have that really nice chopped onions, okay? All right, I'm gonna place this in the bowl. And if you have any questions, I think I'm not sure how the webinar works. If maybe you can type up something on the chat that you'd like to ask me something, just please do so. And probably Sarah is the one that just moderating the webinar. So maybe you can can put it in the chat and she can read that to me and then I can answer it. So okay, so we have our onion, our diced carrots and celery, and our minced garlic. This is all for our pasta e fagioli. It's this is just like an Italian soup. All right, so that is it for chopping and dicing. So we don't need the chopping board and the knife anymore. And also I'm adding beans. I have black beans here and pinto beans, but you can use the cannellini or southern, I think beans and cannellini and kidney beans. Okay, so whatever you have on hand, you can use that. It's just a nice addition to the soup. And then of course our no casing Italian sausage. This Italian sausage really brings the flavor of the soup, really gives it that savory flavor to the soup. I actually, what I've done here, but the recipe says just for convenience, just buy the no casing Italian sausage. But I have ground pork in my freezer, so I thaw it out. And then I just mixed it with some Italian seasoning, basil, red chili pepper flakes, a little bit of that sweet paprika to get that really nice reddish color. And I combine all of this, a little bit of salt, and that's it. And this is now like an Italian sausage. So for that, and then for the seasoning, I always want to just place my seasoning in one bowl like this. All right, so we have our thyme, dried basil, oregano, red chili pepper flakes, and salt and pepper. Now, if the red chili pepper flakes is too spicy for you, you don't have to add it. Just use the ground pepper. But I use both, okay? Because I like both of them. All right. Hi, video, audio. What happened? Oh, okay. So I lost it. Someone just type it up. So maybe Sarah can, look it up. I saw someone type up a note, but I couldn't read it right away. Maybe the chat, hang on, let's see. Oh, I can't even do the chat. All right, so, okay, so I'm gonna lift up the camera now, and then I'm gonna have. So for the rest is, I have this any short.
What you guys doing?
I'm sorry.
Jen, that was me.
Oh, that was you.
Yes, never mind. Okay,
Okay.
carry on.
So any short pasta, you can have elbow macaroni, you can have those little tiny shells, you know, but I like this kind of like a small, like cut up like rigatoni, but and so I have the recipe here. I have this stuffed garlic bread also. I'm gonna talk about that later. And then just to get that tomato going, so I just use can of tomato, okay? Oh, by the way, the beans, I drain and rinse the beans and just put it in one bowl, so then I can just throw it in the pot that easy. Okay, so now that we have everything here ready for our soup, and then of course the broth. Now you can make your own like chicken broth, you know, when you buy the whole chicken, you can make your chicken broth, but I just buy this in the like a chicken bone broth. You can make this vegetarian too. Just don't add the meat, use vegetable broth, and instead maybe add some tofu, add like mushrooms, you know, just pump it up with a lot of veggies. Okay, all right, so now I have my pot over here, which, okay, I'm just gonna make room so I can show you what I'm doing right here. It's a very simple but really hearty and warm, nice for the like fall season. Okay, so the pot, okay, I'm gonna tilt my camera again, okay? And I'm gonna tilt my camera again so you can see. Okay, so here's my pot. So hopefully, let's see, maybe I can brace the. Okay. So that way, okay. All right. Here, maybe closer over here. Okay. So here's the pot. What I'm gonna do is let's cook the meat. Let's cook the sausage first. So medium high heat. All right. So medium high heat. If you have like numbers on your stove, like 1, 2 to 6, maybe 4 would be the medium high heat for you. We're just gonna heat the pot with a little bit of olive oil. Just a tiny bit of olive oil, right? Maybe a tablespoon or 2, okay? And then I'd like to swirl the pan so I can coat the pan, the pan with oil. Make sure it's, you know, like it's evenly coated. And then I'll just have my spatula here. Then we're gonna cook the sausage until it's no longer pink. Then we're gonna remove it from the pot and place it aside while we continue to cook the rest of the ingredients. So this is what I was talking about, like if I'm gonna cook my meat and then if I'm going to remove it from the pot, I'm gonna use the same pot, then it is time for me to prepare my veggies. If your veggies are not prepped yet, and you're just prepping it the time that the pot is already hot, then you wouldn't have time, you know, you'll have to turn it off and then wait until you're done prepping everything. So I just always, I always talk about it when I teach the class that prepping everything makes it a lot easier for you to get things done. Okay, so it is really a nice thing to, a habit, a nice habit to build. Just have everything ready when you're making anything, like something, cooking.
Jen,
Yes.
this is Sarah.
Uh-huh.
We have a question from one of our attendees.
Uh-huh.
Asking, can we substitute chicken or just make it vegetarian?
Oh, absolutely. You can have ground chicken and then season your ground chicken with a little bit of Italian seasoning, dried basil, salt, pepper, a little bit of sweet paprika or just regular paprika to get that nice kind of reddish color. And that also would work, and then cook that. Or like I said, for vegetarians, just add more veggies. You can have zucchini, you can have bell peppers and mushrooms, and then the seasoning would be the same. And then add vegetable broth instead of chicken broth. So absolutely, you can make this dish vegetarian, or you can use other type of meat.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, even ground beef too. You can use ground beef. Okay, I think that my pot is good, hot enough. All right, so I just want to keep it going, and then I'm going to add this sausage here. Okay, and now we're just gonna cook this. And then if you tell yourself, oh, I bought sausage, Italian sausage, but it's in the casing. That's okay. Just remove the casing or cut the Italian sausage into small pieces, and that would work too. We just want some kind of protein in our soup. And since, I thought, since this is an Italian pasta e fagioli is an Italian soup, why not add Italian sausage, right? Because this is really, most of the pasta e fagioli are like vegetarian. They don't add meat. But for me, because I eat meat, I eat a lot of meat. So it's nice to give that savory flavor to this dish. So, okay. And the sausage cooks very, very quick. And also you can buy either the mild sausage or the spicy sausage, or medium sausage, medium heat. And it's really up to you. Oh, and one thing I also add here is fennel seeds, because that fennel seeds gives that really, like, that Italian flavor, like when you have your pizza sauce, kind of smell like that. Okay, so we just want to break the meat and then also cook it until it's no longer meat. So I'm just cooking it. Have any questions? Okay. So. Okay. If you have one of those meat cutter, like those are even better, but I'm just using my spatula, and then this is good. Since this is pork, and pork normally cooks fast, so, and this is about a pound. So this is how much a pound is. So, and if you are just cooking, you say, oh, that's too much, I'm the only, I'm the only one at home. I'm by myself. I have no one really that would eat that much soup with me. That's okay. Two ways you could do. One, you could cook the whole recipe and then freeze half. So the following week, you can have, ready to have soup. Just thaw it out and heat it up. Or two, second way is just cut the recipe in half. Okay. And sometimes even half, it's still too much, but that's okay. Leftovers is good. You can always either refrigerate it, eat it, have it for lunch the next day. Or like I said, just freeze it. If this is easily, you can easily freeze this. You just make sure that you cool it completely, and then you can place it in a freezer bag or container, freezer, a freezer safe container or bag, and then that's it. Okay. Even though it's not, I think it's the meat can be cooked like 80%. It doesn't have to be all the way, but remember, we're gonna put the meat back and we still have to simmer it. So this is done. For me, this is done. Okay, so I'm gonna remove the meat from the pan. Okay. And then just saute. I'm not gonna wash the pot. I'm gonna use the same pot and then saute the veggies. Okay. And you can also, like, you're probably saying, why can't I just add the rest of the ingredients and then, and then simmer it later and don't have to remove the meat? Yes, you can do it that way. But for me, I like it to, like, when I'm sauteing my vegetable, I really like it. I really want that flavor. I like the vegetable, like especially the onion, to sweat and get that flavor. And the only way you can do that is just really searing it and sauteing it with like additional oil. Okay, so here I add a little bit more oil. Just add a little bit more oil if needed. If you see that your pan is drying out, then add a little bit more oil. So, okay, since the pot is still hot, now we are ready to add our onion. This is one onion, okay, that we chop, and then you just, so give the onion time, because the onion has this really nice sweet flavor. Give it time to cook. Let it cook until it's tender or translucent. And then you just, so you're just gonna hang there, and then, if you want, this is the time to combine all your seasoning. Just get it out of your spice cabinet and get everything, or so. And this is also like a one pot meal. Like, we're gonna place the pasta here. So just kind of want to saute it well. Try to, when you're sauteing your aromatics like onion, garlic, make sure that you give it time to release all that flavor. Don't rush, okay? Give yourself time to benefit from all the flavors that this ingredients renders. Okay.
Jen,
Yes.
what size pot are you using?
I believe this is a 10-inch, and about, like, I would have like maybe a 4-inch deep Dutch oven.
Okay, that was a question from Angel.
Yeah, you want to use a stock pot. You want to use a pot that's, deep. So, because this is a soup.
Yes.
Add all the.
Yeah, a kettle, a soup pot.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so now time for the garlic. Okay, so just add your garlic here. And again, just wait until it's aromatic. Okay. Then, all right. So here's the thing. When you have your onion and your garlic, go add your seasoning, because dried herbs, when you toast it a little bit, then it releases their oils, natural oils that also give so much flavor to your dish. So you want to do the dried herbs to add at the beginning of your cooking. Now, it's different when you have fresh herbs like basil, cilantro, parsley. Those are very delicate herbs. So you want them for garnish or at the end, at the very end of cooking. Otherwise, if you add it at the beginning of cooking, they will disintegrate. So those fresh herbs add last. And those dried herbs add first after you saute your aromatics. Okay. Okay. Now time for our carrots and celery. So you can put it in one bowl because they're going the same time. So there again, saute. The key here is to really saute it good and render all of that flavor. Okay. Ooh, it's hot in my house now. All right, so give it like a minute or so. I hope you can see. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, so hopefully that. So now right here, all that, they call it the Holy Trinity. The garlic, the onion, the carrot, and the celery. Okay. Base, this is the base for really good soup. Even if you're making like chicken soup, if you have celery, onions, and carrots, that's a good base for even for your chicken soup. All right. Okay, now we're ready for our canned tomatoes. Now, if you have a garden and you have a lot of tomatoes, use it up. Just dice all those tomatoes, and it will give you the really nice juices, also. All right, now, also the key here is after we simmer this, we're gonna taste it to make sure that, and then we're gonna add our beans. Okay. And then we're gonna add our meat back. See, if you have a bigger pot, use a bigger pot, okay? Because remember, I still need to put the pasta in here, and I still need to add the broth, okay? So all right. We're gonna add the broth, we're gonna cover it and let it simmer for a little bit, and then we're gonna add our pasta. Okay, we want it boiling for a little bit. This is 4 cups. So, okay, well, let's do the math. 32 ounce. That's 4 cups, yes. So it's the whole thing. Okay, so I'm going to simmer this. I might have to add more salt, okay, to this. And then before I add the pasta, and just let it simmer, let it boil. And my Okay. So that's it. Okay, we just need to add the pasta later on, so let it sit there.
That looks so good. It looks just scrumptious.
I wish you can smell it. It smells.
Oh, I wish we had smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision, yeah. You know, the first time I heard that term from Emerald Lagasse, just like I used to watch his cooking show all the time. Would
Oh,
never.
yeah. I love cooking shows. There are a lot of good ones on PBS on the weekends, and I can just watch one after another.
Yeah. Yeah, he's okay. So while that is simmering, we can prep our bread
And how long did you say it simmers, Jen?
for about, say, maybe 5 minutes.
Okay. Just on a very low heat.
I lowered the heat a little bit, but not, just a medium low.
Okay.
But let's see. I think I said simmer for about, oh, well, it says here simmer for about 15-20 minutes. I don't think we have to wait that long. If you medium heat, we could just wait for about 5 minutes. I would say 5-10 minutes.
5 or 10 minutes, as long as it's heated through, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what do we have for our cheesy garlic bread? So butter, okay, and then we have, of course, the garlic, some salt and pepper, just a little bit, like a pinch, because we're adding cheeses already, and the cheese, they are already salty, and a little bit of the what is this Italian? No, this is part. I do not have fresh parsley. Ideally, you will chop some fresh parsley and then just garnish your garlic bread with that. But I'm using dried. I'm using parsley flakes. Okay. So at the end, we're gonna do that. And then this is shredded mozzarella cheese. I shredded myself, but you can buy already shredded. And then just a little bit of Parmesan cheese just gives that nice savory and creamy texture. So we're gonna add a stick of butter. I'm gonna add the garlic into this. Oops, I'm gonna add I finally mince it. You can either grate the garlic or you can use garlic press. Okay, and a little bit of salt and pepper. And then we're just gonna mix this, because this is unsalted butter. So I add a little bit of salt and just mix it. Mix it this. So this is it. And then now for our bread. Now you can buy French bread, Italian bread, anything, or you can go to my website and get the recipe for homemade bread. I made this last night. So this is a homemade bread. But we want easy. So you can buy your own. All right. I'm gonna slice the bread. And this is a very, very simple bread. Flour, a little bit of flour, salt, yeast, a little bit of sugar, so it's kind of a little sweet, and olive oil, and that's it. And then you just let it rise, and you don't have to knead it for like the long time. Like only need it, just combine everything, only need it. Oh, I did not cut it equally, so this is kind of thin, And then the other one is thick, but that's okay. So now we're gonna spread this on here. Okay, you're gonna spread this. Half of it goes in here. And then I know it's too much butter, but this is for your, when you have company, holidays coming. This is also nice to serve, in addition to your other dishes that you have on your menu. This is also great for that. It's warming because it's hot soup. So we want this garlic bread. When you buy garlic bread from the store, the frozen one, it's a lot of it's a lot of butter too. And plus, what kind of butter you are using. If you want like grass-fed, really nice, good quality of butter, you could, what goes in it when you make it yourself. Okay, so what do we have? We can sprinkle some of that Parmesan cheese. I said half cup, but you probably can go with just quarter cup, half. If you have a bigger, like longer bread, a bigger bread, then you're probably gonna need more cheese. This is 2 cups. I shredded here. I might not need all of it, but let's see, right? And then this is gonna be a really good. When I used to live in Chicago, there's a restaurant called, I think it's called Leona's, and we order garlic bread, and literally this is what it says on the menu. It says kick-ass garlic bread. That's what it says. That's how they call it. And we order, right, always like, oh, I would like to have your kick-ass garlic bread. And it's just really cheesy and garlicky, and that's what makes it kick-ass.
I'm laughing out loud at what you called it. It's fun to order it, called that, isn't it? I've been to Leona's, it's delicious.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit. I might sprinkle more of the parsley flakes after we take it out. Okay, but now I will sprinkle a little bit. And I think I'm gonna preheat the oven, bake it to 375. Okay, and start. Okay, and then once it's preheated, and then for the meantime, we're gonna go back to our soup. Okay, and then add. So I'm gonna clean my space here. It's nice to clean. It's nice to work on a clean surrounding. So okay, I'm gonna bring this up here slowly, just to make sure careful enough. Okay. All right. So it's simmering. Okay. Now let's. I'm going to taste this. So always taste what you're making, because it's very important. Some people might like it less salt, and some people might like it more. So you always have to taste it, although you have the recipe, but the recipe is the map, but still not. If you don't want to go to a place that you don't want to go, you're gonna make like a U-turn, right? So taste the. Okay, this is good, but then I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. Although I'm gonna serve this with Parmesan cheese, but it's nice to have like half a teaspoon of salt. Okay. And then I'm gonna add the pasta now. Okay. This pasta might dry the, I think I put more than a cup here. A cup should only be here, but I filled it up all the way, not realizing, that's more than what I need. And then I'm gonna cover it again and let the pasta cook. As soon as the pasta cooks, we are done. So, and then we can serve this with our garlic bread. And then also, if you want it more spicy, add more of that red chili pepper flakes. I think I'm gonna add more red chili pepper flakes. Okay, because this is a big pot. This is nice for this holiday season if you are hosting, your holiday celebration. Because this is a big pot. This serves probably a lot of people. So here you go. Okay, I'm just gonna wait until that pasta cooks. Cover it again, just to make sure. And then, like I said, we're gonna serve it. I have some more Parmesan cheese here. We'll serve this soup. Oh. The soup and our garlic bread right there. So I'm just waiting for the oven to, it's still preheating. And now we're gonna place her. So this is how it looks like. Okay, and then we're gonna cut them into smaller pieces once we're done. I'm gonna need my cutting board again. Okay, let me just clean it up a little bit. The board. Okay, so the oven is ready. And I'm gonna place this and then just have, this is probably just 5 minutes. Okay. All right, so as soon as you see that the garlic bread, the cheese melted on your garlic bread. Okay. Then, yeah, then that would be the indication, it's done and the bread is a little crispy. Now, if you want the bread like a toasted, you toast the bread first. And then you spread the butter and then put the cheese and put it back in the oven. If you want it toasted first, but for me, I just baked it last night, so it's really fresh bread. So I'm just gonna put it in there until all the cheeses are, melted. But ideally, if you want it toasted, a little, crispy bread, then yeah, you put it in the oven.
I'm just impressed, Jen, that you made your own bread.
Oh, Yeah, you can, yeah. I have a couple of recipes on my website for homemade bread. And then I also have like dinner rolls. Yeah, if you go, it's leanbellaskitchen.com. I think it says on the recipes, the PDF that I sent to Sarah, if you receive that, there's like the website there. And you can go and get all these recipes. And most of my recipes, like 99% has videos that you can watch how to make them. So,
Yes, and I did put your contact info in the chat, so if
oh,
people wanna go to your site and see all the wonderful recipes that you
oh,
have there. And I'm happy to send anybody the recipe again. We just had a request for the recipe, and if you need it, just email me at svetter@gailborden.info, and I will send it out tomorrow.
oh, okay, yeah, there you go. That's lovely. Okay, so we add the pasta and they said about, let's put like another 10 minutes here. Cause I think I'm gonna time for another maybe 10 minutes and there you go. So yeah, if you like prep would probably take you 15-20 minutes, and to cook everything all together, if I'm not teaching this class and I'm just doing it on my own, it will probably just take me 45 minutes, all together, or an hour altogether. Well, it's obviously, when you're teaching, you have to stop and talk and explain everything, and that takes time. So it's adding time to what it's actually the time that you will spend making this soup and the garlic bread. So
Jen?
yes,
Angel asks, do you ever slice your garlic bread into smaller serving size sections before baking it?
you could.
You
You
can make it any size you
size, yeah,
prefer, as long as the ingredients are there. And by the way,
yeah.
is there such a thing as too much butter? I think
No.
not.
No, the more butter, the better.
Yes,
But
agreed.
I would say get a good quality butter, like grass fed, like one of those Irish butter, like Kerrygold, or because some butter are very contain a lot of water. Those other butters that just like the the low quality ones, it contains a lot of water, and you're not getting the real like cow's milk, the creaminess of it, because they of course they're going to use fillers. They add more water so they can produce more. But if you use a really good quality butter, you will not regret putting as much as you want, or as much as butter that you want to the dish or to the bread.
Very good. Yeah, quality butter makes a difference that you taste. I
Yeah.
know what you mean. Another patron asked, or an attendee said, can you post your email address? I would like the recipe also. And I can send it to you. Your email is the Jen
Yes,
Pelleraccio
at leanbellaskitchen.com.
at leanbellaskitchen.com, and that is in the chat. Dan, Debbie.
Okay, yeah. So
Okay.
you anytime you want to reach out if you have any questions, or you made this dish and you just want to let me know how it turns out for you, I am really glad to hear from you, and questions, and just letting me know what the experience of making this dish really means a lot to me. And if you run into some problems, you let me know how we can fix it. Sometimes, like I said here, we need to add a little bit of salt for me. I need, and maybe a little bit more of red chili pepper flakes, just to give it a little more kick, like heat. So that's pretty, okay, I'm gonna turn off. I think I'm gonna turn that off, and I'm gonna stir this. Ooh, it's really, really. Okay. So the pasta is not quite cooked yet. This is why you want to use short pasta because they cook fast. Because so you don't have, see, this is a very short pasta. And let me see. We want it al dente. We don't want it overcooked either. Okay, it still need a little bit time, but let me also try. See. Oh, very good. Okay, I'm gonna cover it for a little bit more and maybe a couple more minutes. Yeah. The garlic bread, I'm gonna leave it in the oven for now, the garlic bread, so then we can have it the same time, so it's a little, you know, the bread is warm and it's nice and. All right, it just gets hot in my kitchen. Okay, so anyone have questions?
Yeah, who has questions? We've just had some folks asking you and me for our emails. So, oh, we have a question. If I make the soup and freeze it, how long can it last?
Oh, it could last for a month or two in the freezer. In the fridge, about a couple of like 3-4 days, I would say max. And then in the freezer, it could last a month or two. Just
Okay,
sure that it's a freezer proof, you know, container. Use a good container or use a freezer bag like Ziploc. There's a freezer, you know, that's ideal for freezing food.
Mhm.
So make sure, and then you put a date on it so you don't forget. Put a date because sometimes we tend to just put everything in the freezer and forget about it, and then we come back and I'm like, oh, I have this and I don't know how long I already, you know, I put it there. I don't know when I put it there, how long it's been there. So kind of write the date and so you have the idea, oh, this is still good. It's not, it's not a, it hasn't been there for 10 years.
Yeah, good advice, because I think we've all found things at the bottom of our freezer. It's like, wait a minute, how long have you been here?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a question. What type of pasta?
This pasta is, it is called, I want any short pasta like elbow macaroni, the small ones, not the big ones. And the shell, the small shells. This one is d'Italy.
D'Italy. Okay, I have seen that and I've not used that before, but it looks like it's
Yeah, they look like a broken rigatoni, you know, like but the small like that. Use a
Mhm.
small, short pasta, so it's not gonna take as long to cook.
Okay,
So yeah, this is what I've used here, but like I said, you could use any short pasta.
little baby pastas. D'Italy.
Yeah,
This is one I did. Okay.
short, short, mini ones. I
Is
think.
it done? Oh, it's really boiling.
Yeah, it is now. Okay. All right. Okay, I see the pasta because the pasta will swell up a little bit. Okay, not a lot because this is already like it's a small pasta. It's a really short, small. Oh, let me see. And then you can turn it off. I'm gonna turn it off now. And it, you know, the heat, the residual heat will carry over and then it'll cook the pasta. You don't overcook it. So just leave it like that. It will cook the pasta. Now it's time to plate everything. Now let's see. Okay, what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna move this a little bit down there. And I am going to just get a little bit of the. If you have parsley or basil. I'm gonna put soup. Okay, and then I'm gonna wipe the. I'm gonna wipe the side of this and then. Okay, just in time. And then to serve, I like some cheese on top, like Parmesan cheese. A little bit of, like I said, if you have fresh herbs, this is just the dry herbs and then.
Oh my gosh, that looks so comforting and hearty, and yes, I am hungry. And we
Yeah.
have a question. Would you recommend cooking this recipe in the slow cooker? And if so, what would be the setting and the time duration?
Oh, for slow cooker, I would say we're just like, okay, then you put everything together, it'll probably just take about like maybe 3 hours on the 3 to 4 hours low.
3 to 4 hours on low, and you
Oh,
just put everything in at once?
I'm sorry, 3 to 4 hours high.
High, okay.
And
3
then
to, mm-hmm.
and then maybe 6 hours low. So this is our garlic bread. So it's really get crusty, like on the. So I am going to, oh, it's hot, 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 hot.
Oh yeah, be careful, don't burn your hands. That looks fabulous.
I have asbestos pan. I'm in the kitchen a lot.
Yeah, I can tell, you're very good.
So I'm gonna cut this in the.
Oh my gosh, does that look amazing?
See, does it look like kick ass?
I would have to say yes.
See, I didn't make it up. It's that restaurant. Even if you, I don't know if Leona's is still there, but if you Google it, they actually said that.
And just that you're using homemade bread, all the fresh ingredients,
Yeah.
quality butter, it just looks so good. And such a good pairing with the pasta e fagioli.
Yeah, yes. So believe me, I can eat the whole bread. Oh my. And bread are just, it's like Thelma and Louise. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I have this soup over here, and then I'm gonna place some of the bread here. See, they're small pieces. I cut them into small pieces. And there goes some of the bread. Yeah, right here. And there you go. And then more Parmesan cheese. Even the bread, get more Parmesan cheese there. It's cheesy already, and then put more cheese and butter, and as long as you know, I don't mind making comforting food if I know what goes in it. You know, like homemade ones. That's just.
Oh, that looks beautiful.
Bread, and then here's the soup right there.
I want to reach in and take a bite. Are you going to sample it?
Oh my, if I would maybe next time we'll do it in person, and then we'll cook there and they can taste, they can have some samples.
I would love for you to come in person to the library sometime. We'll get a nice space for you.
Yeah. I don't mind driving. We drove last time all the way to Grace Lake, and then next week I'm gonna go to Franklin Park.
Okay.
To do the sushi. So,
oh, sushi, that'd be fun. So how far is Elgin for you?
Elgin is not that far from me, about maybe half an hour to 45 minutes. So,
Okay.
and it's, yeah, because I'm in DuPage County, so I'm in Glendale Heights and
Mhm.
not that far from Elgin. I've been to Elgin before. I don't know which part of Elgin is the library because there are farther Elgin. And there's
Kind of right downtown. We're at
Oh.
Grove and Kimball. So
Oh.
right on the river, it's easy to find. I'll give you good directions. So
Okay.
yes, I want to thank you so much, Jen, and thanks to all of you for joining us tonight in Jen's virtual kitchen. Cheers. I'm going to raise a fake wine glass to you.
Oh,
Cheers to making and eating
uh,
delicious and healthy
I
food.
have this coffee been sitting.
Cheers. All right, Jen, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Everybody have a lovely evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here and hope to see you again next time.
I hope so too. All right, Jen. Good
Thank-
night and good night to all our attendees. Have a great one.
Have a great night. Stay
Bye-bye.
safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye, Jen.